morning, 6th grade. For today's lesson, you are going to choose a sport, any sport. It can be one that you play, it could be one that you wish you could play, it could be one that you have never heard of and is like extremely obscure, like curling. Some of you are going to look it up after this. Choose one sport, and once you choose that sport, you need to come up with 5 examples of how Newton's third law is being used in that sport. So I'll give you an example, and you can't use this one if you choose my sport. So I'm going to choose water polo. So water polo, they play in a pool, and they have almost looks like a volleyball, and they have to try and throw it in a net. It's like soccer, but with the hand in the water. It's really cool and very exhausting. So water polo. The example I would give is in order for a swimmer or one of the water polo athletes to keep their head out of the water, they have to keep kicking their feet. So the action is kicking their feet downward. So the kicking action is pushing water downward in order for what? In order for them to keep their head above the water. So my explanation for the first one would be the action is kicking my feet downwards. The reaction, my body gets pushed up and my head stays above water. I could even go into further explanation and say the more mass of the person, the more they're going to have to kick. Understand that mass does play a part in this as well. So choose 5. Well, first off, choose one sport. And I'd kind of like it if you did a sport that was a little more obscure, but whatever. You can choose whatever sport you want. Choose one sport, and you need to write down 5 ways that Newton's third law applies to that sport. And again, you need to list the action and the reaction, and if they're the reason why that reaction is happening. Make sure they're in complete sentences. This is going to be worth 100 points. So each of the 5 examples will have a 20 point value, and within that 20 points, I'm looking for complete sentences. I'm looking for the cause, or the action, and I'm looking for the reaction. And I'm looking to make sure that you explain it well. Okay, I can't wait to see what your sports are, and I can't wait to see if some of you do really funky sports. Dance is a sport, cheerleading is a sport, as long as it's competition. Okay, so those are 2 options as well. If you're unsure if your sport is a sport, just leave a comment below, and I'll respond to it. But if you can come up with 5 reasons that it's showing Newton's third law, then we'll call it a sport, I guess. All right. Love you guys, and I can't wait to see what you send me.